Is there a baseball team out there who you really enjoy watching? I'm not talking about being a hometown fan. I'm referring to the idea of you like watching them because they have a certain style of play that you enjoy. They have a certain way they conduct themselves on the field that you support. The style of play and the way that teams conduct themselves on the field all stem from the philosophy of the coach. When it comes to coaching baseball or really any sport, all coaches should have the same starting point, and that's developing a coaching philosophy. Today's Bullpen Bulletin is for coaches, and we'll be discussing everything that goes into developing and implementing a coaching philosophy and why it's the backbone of your whole coaching career. Hey team, Coach Hart here with Building Better Baseball, the best place for baseball education. If you're just finding this channel and we're meeting for the first time, welcome, it's great to have you. This channel is for youth baseball players and coaches to learn more about baseball with tips and advice to take their game to the next level. If that sounds like something you'd like, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Really quick, before we get started with the coaching philosophy, I want to point out to all new teammates watching that if you're looking for ways to improve your game, the free guides in the description below will really help you out. One is a free equipment guide that explains every piece of baseball equipment and helps you find your perfect fit. The other is a free 2-hour practice plan for coaches that will help you make your practices more organized and efficient. I'm here to help you be the best you can be on the field. Be sure to grab your copy down below. Now, let's talk about the importance of having a coaching philosophy. The first thing we'll discuss today is what is a coaching philosophy? I want to quickly discuss what a coaching philosophy is because it's kind of hard to develop one if you don't know what it is. Simply put, your coaching philosophy is the style with which you want your team to play. You want to develop a personality your team can interact with, and that personality should encompass your values and beliefs as a coach. When your team takes the field in practices and games, you want them to have an identity. You want them all to be thinking and playing the same way. And that way should align with what you think as a coach and what you believe a team should play like. Do you believe a team should hustle everywhere they go? Do you believe a team should rely on speed and small ball rather than having big hitters smash the ball for runs? Do you believe teams should be standing in the dugout at all times and coming out to pick up their defense after the third out is made? One known example of a coaching or a team philosophy in Major League Baseball is with the New York Yankees. Have you ever noticed that no Yankee player ever has had any facial hair or long hair past their jersey collar? That's the team philosophy developed by the late George Steinbrenner. He believed that all baseball players should be clean cut, so he had a clean cut policy for the Yankees that still stands today. Yankee players are only allowed to have a mustache and nothing more. The second thing we'll talk about today is why it's important. Having a coaching philosophy is the most important part of coaching because it's the foundation that you build everything else on. Every coaching decision you make, no matter what area of the game it is, always traces back to your coaching philosophy. As I said in the first part, a coaching philosophy gives your team and players an identity that they can play with. Let's say, for example, you have a no cursing or no throwing equipment policy because you believe that all baseball players should control their emotions and act respectively and responsibly no matter what happens. In the beginning of the season, you went over your policies with your team and explained your coaching philosophy, so they should know how they should play if they're playing for you. There's a game when a player strikes out 3 times, and on the 3rd time, he gets into the dugout, he throws his helmet on the floor, he throws his bat down, and he says a few words or phrases that's not suitable for children. You sit him the rest of the game. Your coaching philosophy allows you to sit him the rest of the game. It establishes parameters for your team that everyone is aware of, and it sets lines that should not be crossed. If you didn't have a coaching philosophy, your team would think that those actions would be okay. Every coach is different. You have a certain way that you believe the game of baseball should be played, and you want your team to play that way. Your coaching philosophy is the method to express the way that you want your team to play. The third thing we'll talk about today is tips on how to find your philosophy. The concept of a coaching philosophy is very broad and can mean so many different things to different people. I know I was a little overwhelmed when I was first introduced to the idea of having a philosophy of my own. I've always had a certain way that I believe the game should be played, but organizing those beliefs into words and putting it into the coaching philosophy box seemed like an impossible task. One way to develop your coaching philosophy, and what worked for me, is to just start asking yourself questions. Ask yourself questions that have to do with your beliefs about baseball. The following questions are great questions that will help you organize your thoughts. When I watch baseball, what specific things do I like that other teams and coaches do? When people see us play, what do I want them to notice about me and my team? How do I want to be described as a coach? Why am I coaching? How will I help my players become successful adults? What do I want to accomplish? These are just a few questions that will really help you get started in the right direction. The more questions you ask, the more defined your coaching philosophy will be. Another way to help you develop your philosophy is to learn from others. The coaches that you played for when you were younger, how were they? Did any of your beliefs about how the game should be played come from them? Do you have a team that you like to watch because of how they conduct themselves on the field? What is that coach doing to have his or her team play that way? Observing other coaches and teams will definitely get you moving in the right direction. The last thing I want to talk about today is some tips on how to stay true to your philosophy. The best way to stay true to your philosophy is by setting clear goals and objectives for you and your team to accomplish. Having objectives and goals for both coaches and players will ensure everyone stays on the right track to success. The whole point of a philosophy is to play the game properly, the way you believe the game should be played. The whole reason you have these beliefs is because that's how you think you will have the most success. The reason you believe players should not throw equipment is because you believe throwing equipment will steer you away from success and not towards it. Having a coaching philosophy without having any clear goals or objectives is like sitting in a luxury car and not being able to drive it. You have this great vehicle to use, but you have nowhere to go, no destination. One does not succeed without the other. You can't accomplish your goals without a solid coaching philosophy, and your coaching philosophy means nothing if you don't have goals to strive for. To stay true to your philosophy, make sure you have specific goals and objectives for your team. All coaches, I'm really interested to hear what you think about this video. Have you ever thought about a coaching philosophy? Do you have one? Are you excited to create one? Leave a comment below and I'll be sure to respond with my thoughts. And don't forget to grab your free equipment guide and your free 2-hour practice plan in the description below. Thanks for spending some time with me today. I hope this video gave all coaches some new ideas surrounding the importance of having a coaching philosophy, and now you'll be able to sit down and ask yourself questions to help yourself develop your own. I'll catch you next week for another edition of the Bullpen Bulletin.